Hey everyone, we're waiting for Adrian's computer. He's having some technical difficulties.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Sorry about that. All right. Give me 1 second. Turn my screen on. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, guys, what's going on? As you can see, it is hot and I'm sweating like a pig. But sorry about that. I was having some issues with my computer. That's done now. And I want to have a discussion. Can everybody hear me? I just want to make sure you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, cool. So one thing that I wanted to do is basically talk about how, well, for anybody that doesn't know me, my name is Adrian Miller, real estate investor, Midwest regional leader for Subto, and currently focusing on AI solutions. I'm going to start having um, us work more like a team. Um, One thing that I started to realize is that it's very difficult for each one of us to just do our business by ourselves. So I was going to reach out to some of the people that have been coming to these meetings on a regular and consistent basis and say, you know what, let's figure out a way that we can help one another. And so I'm like, we meet every week on Thursday, and I want to see if there's a way that we can partner together on not just deals, but me sharing how you can go about doing your business. I feel like that from a conversation that um, Pace had with us on one of his Zooms, one of his meetings with the regional leaders, it was some ideas that we came up with that was more along the lines of let's see how we can galvanize the regions that we have. So one of the things I would like to do is I'm going to start showing you how I find deals. I'm going to start showing you how I underwrite deals. I'm going to start showing you what we look for when we buy. I'm going to start showing you how we do the business. And anybody who's interested in having this carryover pass just on these Thursdays, I'll give you assignments so that you can know what we're looking for, know what we can actually sell, and let's just say, let's just try to do some deals together because there are so many people that have talked to us about working together, and we've been so busy in our business. And right now, this year has been probably the best and worst year for me personally in real estate, just because of all the different things that have gone on, both good and not so good, I guess, in so many different ways, deals falling apart, stuff like that. But with that being said, I've been focused on a lot of AI solutions. So anybody interested in AI, I'll be going live every Tuesday, doing AI solutions, building out different GPTs or agents that you can use in your business. So before I go into the topic of discussion for today, did we have any questions? Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question
Go for it.
about the Tuesday meeting. Can I get an invitation to that? I would like to know more about the AI solutions.
Yeah. So right now, I will put this in here. So this is my ask. Because one of the things that I want to do is I want to get people to bring questions, and I'm going to go live. The only ask that I have for that, hold on one second. My computer is, I think it's because it's hot. It's so hot that everything is just um, behaving badly. Give me one second. Okay, here we go. The only thing that I ask is that you um go to my YouTube page because I'm going to be streaming it on my YouTube page. And I think that what I'm also thinking about doing is streaming these Thursday classes on YouTube as well, just so you guys don't have to worry about replays, right? You'll have a place that they can go. You can ask questions and you can watch them and follow up. So I will probably upload this video. I didn't have enough time to set it up to stream it, but we'll do it that way. So I really am excited about what I can do to try to help everybody get to where they want to go in business, right? So that being said, does anybody have any questions that they have, or anybody have any problems that they want to solve? I put my YouTube channel there, so if you want to subscribe, then you'll get notifications when I go live Tuesday. I'm thinking that it'll be either 11 or 7. I'm going back and forth between the two, but I'll let you know. And once I get it solidified, I think 11 is when I want to go live because we do this one at night just so that people have time during the day. They'll be able to do it. Um,
Hey, Adrian.
bear with me. Yeah.
Hey, Adrian. I just want to introduce myself. I'm new. I'm fairly new. My name is Saban. I joined Subto around like about 3, 4 weeks ago. My
Okay.
wife and I joined, and we're based out in Oak Brook Terrace. So love to collaborate and just, it's good to get this invite from Urania.
For
Thank you,
sure.
Urania. Thank you. I appreciate that. Just want to introduce myself. I'm fairly new to the new real estate business, coming off a project management background in information technology. I have my
Okay.
wife is on the call as well. So I just want to, introduce myself and get to know everybody else. And that way, we can collaborate.
Oh, for sure. Just to let welcome, and I'm glad that you came.
Thank you.
Again, I am going to really be pushing people to try to do their business like a business and not like a hobby. I think that one of the things that we all have a hard time doing is figuring out what to do and how to do it, myself included. There are certain things that I have learned how to do on a regular and consistent basis, and I want to help show you guys how to do it as well. Just a reminder, anybody who wants a past recording of a video, I have every video recorded, and I can also send you a link to them. They're all unlisted. I may slowly start releasing the old videos, but moving forward, I want to actually make sure that we get some of these videos out. Specifically, what I'm going to try to do now, I am going to. Does everybody know how to find deals, or how do they go about looking for deals? And I'll talk about strategy when it comes to these Thursday meetings, and then I'll talk about tools and solutions on Tuesday. So if you see a strategy that you like and you want to learn, how can we implement a tool, or what is the way to think about doing the tool? We'll do that on Tuesdays. But I want this to be like participation. I want people to bring some of the problems that they're having so that we can figure out how to get past those problems. Does everybody know how to find deals? And when you can speak whenever you speak, but when you speak, don't just tell me the name of a software. Tell me what you do.
Hi, my name is Liz Snyder. I'm from Lincoln, Nebraska. I do not know how to find deals. I could use help with that.
Okay, great. Tony.
So that was my thing too. I'm new to Sub 2 and I don't know how to find deals, how to get started. So I'd
Okay.
like some help with that.
Okay. So one thing that I need your help with is it is easy for me to forget what it's like to not know. So I may make certain assumptions that you guys don't make. Please stop me. I don't mind it at all. I want to help. So what I'm going to do is try to do this using free. And then we can talk about bells and whistles with paid stuff. I'm going to try to start off with free. So I'm going to share my screen. Give me 1 second because I may not have it. Okay, great. Okay, so we're gonna go here. Let's just do screen. All right. Um, just everything that we're going to be looking at is going to be public record, and it's going to be something that we can find online. I'm not going to be using anything like that. So, with that being said, one strategy that so we started off doing buy and hold, and we would try to burr. And one of the biggest things that I would say for anybody new that I would say is when you buy and hold, you have to have cash. And so our whole thing when we first started was we can buy these properties, we can burn them, we can get all our money back out, and then we can move forward with the properties. One of the things that you realize is that if you don't, even if you buy something, you get all your money back. It puts you at a disadvantage with a property if you don't have enough liquidity to be able to withstand any issues that may come up on the property. For example, um, there are going to be moments in time when you have a business where one day your account may be at 60,000 or 100,000, then the next day your account is at 1,000. And that is just when you're consistently doing deals and you're consistently moving money in and out. If you don't plan for cash flow, or if you don't do cash flow planning and anything like that, then your business could suffer even if you have ample deals going on. It just depends on when they close and how you keep the money moving through. Most people don't talk about a lot of the things that as a business owner you have to consider when you're actually trying to run a business and things like that. And again, if you guys have questions, please stop me. Again, if you want something answered that I haven't answered, put it in the chat. Again, I'm going to start recording these and sending them to YouTube, so you'll hear me say things like put it in the comments, like, comment, and subscribe, things like that, so that if you guys are watching afterwards, we can see that and we can respond to it, because I want this to be evergreen. I want this to be something that you guys can go back and refer to. With that being said, deals. When you BRRRR and you do things like that, you need to have liquidity in case something happens. I think right now, between my house, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 air conditioners and 6 air conditioners. Some of them are new that need to be installed that we had to purchase within the last 6 months, right? So it's one of those things where you can't determine when some of these things are going to happen. Some of them were planned, some of them were not. And so you want to make sure you set yourself up to do things really well. Okay. So last part that I'll say before I get into it is you want to make sure that whenever you do a deal, you want to try to get paid on every deal that you do. Most people talk about passive income, but the lifeline of your business is going to be cash flow. Cash flow is king. You do not want to run out of cash. You want to make sure you have ample coming in. So if I were to encourage anybody to BRRRR, it would always be, let's set up a system that allows you to get paid for every deal that you do, even if it's with yourself. And so that is the way that I think about this, and that is the way I'm going to teach you guys how to do it, so that when you move forward, you can move forward with clarity, and you can also move forward with focus, knowing that you're setting up a system that will allow you to win. Okay, so when it comes to free, I am going to show you Propwire. And so Propwire is what Jerry Norton has. It's free, and it allows you to stack lists. What I mean by stacking lists is that it allows you to pick a lead type, and based on that lead type, you can have it be, give me a list full of these 100% of, let's say, pre-foreclosures and 100% vacant homes. Or you can have it stacked, where you say, give me all the vacant pre-foreclosure homes. The idea is the more categories you can stack, the more quote unquote motivated somebody is. So the first problem that I see with this is that most people are looking for lists based on motivation, but I would challenge everybody to say that motivation cannot be determined by a list. Write that down and remember that. We're going to use this list to help us identify leads that we're going to try to go after, but understand that it does not equate to motivation. And I don't care what anybody tells you. Let's look at it like this. Most people that are in a foreclosure or pre-foreclosure do not want to sell their house. They don't. They want to keep their house. That is the reason why they wait to the last minute. And typically, you can have 1 million people reach out to them to try to buy their property. And what ends up happening is the person that contacts them the moment they give up usually gets the house. Unless they have made a special connection with the person, or unless they approached it from a position of, I want to help and serve you, not that I want to buy your house. So just understand, we will pick these lists, but I do not look at them and equate them to motivation. You can test for motivation, and I will teach you how to test for motivation. And when you test for motivation, it will become clear if somebody is motivated. And I will speak for myself in a deal that I have right now. And I'll talk about the level of motivation that somebody may have, right? So most people here are in Chicagoland. Is most people in Cook County? What county? Somebody type in the comments what county you're from so that I can see where people are, and I'll choose a county that that at least people are from. All right, so the first two people said DuPage. Let's go to DuPage. So we're going to put in DuPage County, Illinois. Now, what I'm going to do from here is look at the lead type. Now, what I like to look for, definitions are very important. Making sure we're all on the same page is very important to me. So I'll go over a couple of these things. Absentee owner, and we can click over this and you can see the question mark, is a property owner who doesn't live in the house. They are often landlords ready to sell at a deep discount. They own the property, but they do not live there. So this is typically a landlord. It does not have to be a landlord. It could be two people got a divorce, they both moved, and the house is empty. Or I shouldn't say the house is empty. Two people have left and they no longer live in the house. That is an absentee owner. Now, why does somebody want to choose absentee owners? Because they feel like by default, if you do not live there, you no longer have an emotional connection to the property, and that you're more likely paying more than one mortgage. And at some point, you want to get rid of it just so you don't have the burden of having to continue to pay multiple mortgages. We all understand there's a flaw with that, because the flaw is we're making assumptions, but it is at least a direction that we can choose to walk in. So absentee owners is one that I like to choose. If we're doing off market, I will give you my opinion about off market and on market in a second. But if we're dealing with off market, I like absentee owners. Now we can go through some of these. They have adjustable loans. These are loans that are on arms. They're not necessarily 30-year fixed, or somehow the interest rate will adjust. We have assumable loans. Assumable loans are loans that you can take over that somebody else has, and they're assumable. One thing I would like you guys to know is that all FHA loans and all VA loans are assumable. If you can figure out a way, if you wanted to assume a loan that somebody has a house on, you can think of it in a very creative way. Thank you. I guess I'm over here dying. But if you can find a way to be creative and assume a loan, if it's in a good location in a good area and you don't mind buying it, then it still may make sense to assume a loan and either put down a large down payment or assume a loan and get private money to cover part of it, depending on what your goals are and what you're trying to do. And we can talk about creative structure and things like that at a different time, but today we're going to talk about how do I find and identify property, and understanding 100% that these lists that we're pulling from are not motivated sellers per se. There might be motivated sellers, but they are not. We want to make sure that we remember that and we put that in our head so that when we go and we try to test for motivation, we can understand that. So I like to do absentee owners, and then typically I like to do absentee owner pre-foreclosure. Now, absentee owner pre-foreclosure usually says the homeowner no longer lives there and they're losing the house. And typically what that would mean is the house is not producing income. They don't have the funds to actually make the mortgage payments. And you would think that they would be more likely and more willing to sell. It also could be that somebody died and they left the house to someone, and now they have it. They have another property that they have to deal with. They don't have the funds to take care of it. It gets pushed to the wayside. They don't know what to do with it. And by the time they figure out what do I need to do, they're in a foreclosure situation and they can lose the house. Now, you can also, I think they have probate on here somewhere where you can actually see. So over here on the right, you can see in DuPage County, the number of pre-foreclosure absentee owners is 16. If we take them both off, we have 328,000 houses. If I pick pre-foreclosure, that number goes down to 374. If I turn it off and I go back to absentee owner, you will see 40,000. If I want to do absentee owner pre-foreclosure, we had 300 and something pre-foreclosures. That will go down to 16. So one thing that we just did is we went from 328,000 leads that we could call. We already do not know if they want to sell. Now we have identified at least 16 that we could call, and maybe they're motivated to sell. Since this is talking about how do we identify and find leads, I won't necessarily talk to you about how to test for motivation other than to say this. It will be easy to identify if someone is motivated by what you ask them and what their response is. And I'll give you one example. Let's say, for instance, you want to sell your house. And let's say you want $200,000 for the house. And you haven't had anybody make any offers on the house, but you're ready to negotiate. You're ready to sell. I come in and I tell you, I will give you $50,000 for your house. What is your response? Can people put in the chat, what is your response? You want 200, which could be too much, or it might be just right. And I offer you $50,000 for it. What is your response? Most of the time, what would end up happening, a lot of this has to do with personality type, but 9 times out of 10, if you are motivated, you will say, I cannot do 50 if I can do 125. That will let you know that somebody's motivated. When somebody is motivated, they will respond to you and tell you where you need to be. Most people who have no motivation won't respond. They will just say, go away. If you are a motivated seller, you will respond because even though you know that is going to put you in a position of weakness to show your cards, you cannot let them off the hook without at least identifying a number that may work, or at least let them know that you're willing to negotiate. So as soon as they respond back with something, now you know that you've tested motivation. That is why a lot of times you want to give a quote unquote insulting offer, right? That's what I like to call it, an insulting offer, to have people give you an idea of where they're at. And the thing is, most of us, including myself, don't realize that we spend way too much time trying to convince somebody to sell their house to us when our goal is only to identify motivation and move forward. One of the comments that I see in the chat is, do you prefer Propwire instead of PropStream? Propwire and PropStream are basically the same to me. If you don't know what aggregated data is, what that means is that take multiple sources of data, they aggregate them together, meaning they just add up all the data together and they display it here for you to actually consume and use and process. What this also means is that a lot of the data that they have is not live, fresh data. So what that means is that some of these homes could be sold already, but they're showing that they're not sold. The data could be 6 months old and not updated. So sometimes the data that you get from PropStream or Propwire is old and outdated. I like to use Privy for MLS related data or live data because they actually have live data. Does anybody have any questions before I continue? Do we all understand what stacking and lists means? Do we all understand what it means to test for motivation, and that we are not pulling a motivated list, but we're pulling opportunities that have motivated sellers on them? And our goal and our objective is to identify motivation.
I have a question.
Go for it. Yes.
Oh, so no, Actually, you brought up a very good point because I've come across in situations in my past where they want to sell the house, but they're becoming very whether you're going through the talking to the sellers directly or you're talking to the agents, they're becoming very I don't know if it's the right word, but like very picky. And how can you detect that if they are really looking for, because here's the this thing, when you get to a contracting position, right? Like when you're in the process of getting the contract signed, and they're all looking forward to the contract. They want to get this deal done. But when as soon as they get the contract, then they find nooks and crannies and like, oh, okay, there's this problem. We don't want to move forward. So how can we make that situation less painful and making sure that we're hitting the right target audience and making sure that we're moving correctly before we give them the contract. So that way we don't have these bumps in the road.
Okay, so what I'm about to say is strictly my opinion and how I think about this stuff. Other
Mm-hmm.
people have a different view. Our job is to find motivation and to make offers. That's it. It's not to convince, it's not to
Okay.
play games. If somebody wants to sell their house, they will tell you. The people that call We Buy Houses, they will they will beg you to take the house because they want to get rid of it. The only thing that is stopping them from just giving you the house is that they have some need that they need to achieve. And they're not trying to get more than satisfy their need or maybe just a little bit more. They understand they will leave money on the table, but they have to get out. We did a deal earlier this year where the person we sold the house subject to, they just did not want the house. They just gave us the house. They let us sell it and they no longer wanted it. They just wanted out. And so you can run into situations like that when there's motivation. But we are not always looking for motivation, myself included. There's so many things that I know I don't always have the time to do it, but at the same time, sometimes you forget. Your job is to test for motivation and move on. That's it.
Okay.
And so your job isn't to try to convince. There are some people they will spend all of their time trying to convince, and they might miss out on 5 deals that could have been 5 times as much if they would have just processed the list and maybe they follow back up and check and see if somebody wants to do it. We made an offer on a home in Flossmoor within the last 2 weeks. The house was listed for like 280, almost 280, and I offered like 200, and they came back and was like, I cannot do 200 because I'm like, we need to be all in 250, right? That gives us $100,000 spread to come in, do some work, and try to make a quick buck and move on, or potentially keep it as an Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
They came back to us and they were like, I cannot do 200. They came back and said, the most I can do is 250. I knew that that was their number. I knew it was no more, no less. This house is on the MLS, and we tested for motivation, and they told us what they could do. And then it was a decision on if we wanted to do it or not. We were thinking, we were thinking, we were thinking. And I think that the reason why we were thinking so long is we already knew that that was not the price that we needed to buy it at. The only way it would work is if we did something creative, like turn it into an Airbnb, but that would have put us at one exit. What happens if while we're doing this, the city decides they won't allow Airbnb? We can long term rent it, but we would just be breaking even. So instead of being able to long term rent it at a profit, we would have been shooting for just one exit. And I think that that's what took so long for us to decide. But ultimately, I felt like that, if we were in a different position inside of our business where we were looking for places to park money, it would have
Mm-hmm.
been a great opportunity. But you have to look at where you are and you have to look at what is your ultimately your goal. You guys hear anybody who has listened to me speak about this always hear me talk about aligning your goals, aligning your actions with your goals. That means when I make an offer, I have to make an offer based on the position that I'm in my business. I can't make an offer that's not in alignment with where I am. And we have to be comfortable and we have to be okay knowing where we are, because where we are today is not where we're going to be tomorrow. And we have to make sure that we take the appropriate steps to get to where we want to be. So, I'll say all that to say, we can come up with different strategies. That's not to say that we don't overcome objections, but we don't convince. And so if people start playing these games, you have a choice. First, you have to control what you can control. And that's it. You control what you can control. You say, this is where I am. This is what I want to be. I'm not going to come off of my lane to play a game with you. If you want to sell the house, this is what I can offer. If you don't want to sell the house, you move forward to the next one.
Adrian, can I ask you a question?
Go for it.
Can you go through your numbers?
Sure.
How much you
Go through my numbers on what property?
repair is, and what is your cash flow on that?
On which property are we talking about?
The one you're discussing right now, Flossmoor.
Oh, we didn't even look at cash flow on that property. We were just looking at, does it even make sense to even make an offer? So for instance, the house was 270, 280, like 278, 279, and we offered 200. They came back at 250. We have never done a rehab at $50,000. Every rehab we have ever done has been $75,000. Even they have been playing 75. The last one that we did, we thought it would be 65. It ended up being more than that. That being said, this house was just cosmetic, in my opinion. I felt like we could do it for 50. Urania and I talked about it, and she said, Urania, do you want to talk about, like, was it truly cosmetic, or do you feel like there was a little bit more than cosmetic or a little bit less?
I don't know what less than cosmetic means.
A light rehab, just paint.
Yeah, it was in really good condition. So I didn't think the only thing I think that was the drawback. I think the bigger issue is that it was a 4-bedroom house with 1.5 bathrooms.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
so to make that house, to bring up the ARV, you would actually had to add a bathroom.
Yeah, we were going to add a bathroom. And so that is where you have to decide, what's worth it and what's not, because you have to look at the numbers. But with that being said, typically in this area, I think I think that the right number is you have to be all in about 250, 260. That's in Homewood, in my opinion. And Flossmoor, I think you need to be all in about 300. Those are two areas we like. And typically, and in this particular case, if we bought it at 250 and we were 50, and we did 50, that would put us all in 300. The problem is, I don't think that the ARV for that property would be over 4, and I would need it to be over 4 in order for me to want to take on that type of deal. So that's why we were trying to get the numbers down. But typically, what I like to look for, and this is one thing that we'll talk about too another day, is how to identify what your buy box is. It took me a long time to understand why some people say my buy box is, I only buy houses 1980 and up, 1,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. And that's because they know how much it's going to cost to renovate for the most part, because they're so used to doing homes in that square footage, that size. They know how much it's going to cost for framing. It just makes it easier. And so one thing that I think that, Urania and I have been talking about a lot lately, I think that she helped me to see this, or to clarify it. When you're a business owner, for me, I always say there's a lot of noise in my head, but it doesn't really mean anything to everybody, because people are like, well, what is noise? It's very abstract. But she and I were having a conversation, and it came from her saying, I don't really understand how you interpret that, because it could be interpreted differently by different people. But I think that what I mean by that is, there are a lot of tasks that we have to tend to. There's a lot of brain power that goes into trying to identify what to do with those tasks. And there's a lot of decisions that you have to make. And for me, the less decisions you have to make, the clearer your mind is, the better you can focus, the less stress you have, the better decisions you can make. And so in this particular case, the people that identify their buy box in a very strategic and a strategic way has set themselves up to make less decisions. They know what some of their costs are going to be. They know at most what it could be based on those sizes, based on doing it over and over and over. Their team knows what they're going to do most of the time in these houses. And this is assuming that the footprint is the same. Like the houses could be completely different, all 1,500 square feet. And that would be different because they would be more custom. But there are a lot of people that like to do those types of homes. And that's why you also see a lot of these newer cities have very cookie cutter homes, and that's why the prices typically go up so high, because you can see how much the ones on the same block sold for, and there's a comparison, and the numbers can continue to rise because a lot of people are coming into those areas, and they become very easy to actually underwrite because there's so many that are the same. In Chicago, you have like 30 different houses on the same block, so how can you really tell what the ARV is? In any event, I feel like I'm going on a tangent. The point that I'm trying to make is that with those numbers, they wouldn't work. And so typically I use two calculations. One is 70% of ARV minus rehab costs, minus holding costs, minus closing costs, or I would use 90% of ARV minus 2 times rehab costs, minus holding costs, minus closing costs. And those are typically the way that I try to keep those numbers in a line. But then I'm human, so there are a lot of times Urania will be like, I like this house, and then I will try to find a way to see if we can make some adjustments to get it. Hopefully that answers your questions, but we will definitely get into use cases because I want to do that. Especially because what I want to be able to do is say, hey, you guys go out and you look for deals, bring them back. We'll see if we can close those deals. We'll see if we can fund those deals. We'll see if we can push them across the finish line. I will help you try to transact and do business with you from providing whatever opportunities that we have or whatever opportunities you have and trying to get those pushed across the finish line. All right. So we have this list of 16. And so, there's a couple of things. So these are not areas that I typically work in, but this is good because what I want to see is, okay, you find these homes. These are these are the opportunities that you have to test for motivation. You can go through here and you can look at these homes and say, hey, these are pre-foreclosure homes. Let me make a call to the owner or skip trace so that I can identify if they're in a position to sell and what their motivation is, and can I submit to them an offer. And so that's what this would be. And a lot of times you can go through here and you can see it. So like, for instance, let's look at this one right here. This is in Burr Ridge. So we will look and see, this house looks like it was under construction. So let's see if it actually still looks the same. So, oh, they have this on YouTube. Let's look at this. Hold on one second. Hold on, let me pause it because I don't think you guys can hear it. Give me 1 second. All right, let me know if you can hear the sound. Where's the house? Is this just? So this is a nice looking house. right, so that's a nice looking house. So one thing that we see here is that this says it's in pre-foreclosure. So, you know, what I would end up doing if this is an opportunity that I want to go after is I would try to identify who the owner is and contact them, and then find out if there's a way that you can purchase the home. And so it says there's a list pendants, and it happened earlier this year. Actually, the auction date was today, according to this. So if the auction date was today, then this home, if it wasn't today, they could have tried to sell it beforehand. Um, and you might have been able to get it. I don't know what the note on it would have been, or what the payoff would be. But these are opportunities that you could take advantage of here. Well, let's see if we log in. Will it give us some information? So I don't know. So I don't know if they tried to sell it or not, but let's see. Um, Here it tells you in 2018, these are the people that bought the house. And so you could have, looked these people up on True People Search. In the mortgage history. So, and okay, so someone took out in 2022 a $1.4 million loan on this house. So, you know, unless, and oh, they tried to sell it in 2023 for $3.3 million. So it seems like that the reason why they say 1.5 is because that's what the note was. So, if they were going to lose the house and nobody was willing to buy it, the time's running out, then maybe they would have sold it for 1.5, so they wouldn't have a foreclosure on their on their name. Or maybe they just say screw it and they walk away. But this is the list. You pull the list, you identify the ones they're going to call, and you just go and you call them. Now, this is how you can identify properties using Propwire. I use Redfin as well. So if we go and let's say, for instance, we pick a neighborhood like, let's say, Woodline. Let's say we pick Woodline. The way that I like to look at properties as well is this is a freeway. You can go to home type. I look at home and multifamily. And then the other thing that I like to do is we have house and multifamily. I don't necessarily look at the coming soons, but I like to find the stuff that is 180 days or more. So this has 9 homes, so I will look at these 9. And this will be the ones that I will look at first and try to see what is going on with these properties. This property right here has been on the market. This one right here, this 410, has been on the market for a very, very long time. It has issues. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and the price is just too high. But this is one of those situations where if the homeowner is willing to negotiate, or if there is an opportunity to pitch creative, this is where you would try to pitch it when the house has been on the market this long and it's apparent that they want their price. The question becomes, how much can you have 2 opportunities. One is you're going to flip this and you're going to use that note as a hard money loan. But then this means you have to go out and get private money to do the renovations, or you're going to try to get the property, stabilize it, and you're going to rent it out. But these are the ones that you can start off with, because now this one, the outside looks like it was just done. So this house was just renovated. It's been on the market for 237 days. This is a new construction home built in the area, and they haven't been able to sell it. I could tell that it looked newer just from looking at the outside of it. And it's been on the market for a long time. The house looks really nice. The question is, why has it been on the market for almost a year? It's 590. Let's take this, and I am going to use Privy. The reason I like to use Privy is because it has live data, but it also will match the home with comps. So hold on, let's put in the address. So I saw somebody said they went way too high end with their finishes. Now I'm going to say this, and Urania can probably speak to this more than I can. But oftentimes, depending on who the person is, we get some more expensive materials like marble for about the same price that most people get. What material? What would you say it is, Urania? We might get marble for the same cost of like some ceramic tile. I don't know. What is the material that you would say would be equivalent in some cases?
Probably porcelain
Porcelain.
tile.
Okay. So here, this shows the before, so we can see that, you know, they look like they added a top to it. Is that what they did? Oh no, it was already there. Okay, I could see it. In this picture, you could see that it was already there, but you can see what the before looks like. So they did a great job. Now let's look at what they bought it for. They bought it for 85. Now here's the deal, and this is my opinion. If they bought it for 85, and this is they say it's a 3,800 square foot house, and it was 12. If they say it's 3,800 square feet, let me look again. Did they add? Maybe they did add onto this house. I think they added the upstairs. Yeah, they look like they blew the top off because you could see windows upstairs that. Let's look. I think they added a upstairs that wasn't there. At least it seems like it. When I look at this, we can make this bigger. Let's go back. But in any event, if they paid 85 for this and they put 200 into it, I don't know why the house is still on market. Even if they put 300 into it, why they wouldn't have sold this house already? It must mean that they're just trying to get their price. I don't understand why this house wouldn't have sold already. Okay. With that being said, the way that like I said, I like to look for these houses is by going on Propwire, pulling the list, or going on market, looking at the number of days on market, and trying to see if there's opportunity. Uh, if you find opportunities, like this is on 65th and King Drive. It's been on the market for 262 days. This might be a situation where, you know, this is a 24 unit walk-up apartment building, made up of 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. So let's do this and do like some quick numbers just to see what this would be. So I like to go to affordablehousing.com, and I like to look up owners and market rent estimator, and just putting in the address and then the number of bedrooms is 2, and just getting an idea of what the rent would be. And this is just for quick math, and this is not precise, but we would just use this as quick. Let's see what we can get. So let's pull out a calculator. Looking at this, it says within 0.25 miles, $1,300 rent. In the zip code, we're looking at 15. So I'll split the difference, and let's say we get 14. Let's say we get $1,400 a month, and there are, for this particular property, 24 units, made up of 2 bedroom, 1 bath. So 1,400 times 24 is going to end up being 33,600. We multiply that by 12, and that means that if we have a fully rented apartment units and we're getting $1,400 a month, we're looking at $403,200 a year. Now, if we use just the 40% expense ratio, so we take 60% of that, that means that we're putting 40% of the money that we collect back into the property, and 60% of it will be what we can keep. You have to pay mortgage on it, but this is how we're going to try to calculate the value of the property really quickly. So one other thing I'm going to do, and I'm not going to use AI to do it, but let's just do cap rate multifamily Woodlawn Chicago, and we'll see what number they come up with just to give us a little. So they say in Woodlawn is between 7.65 to 9. So let's go with 9. Just on that, we divide that by 0.09. That tells us that this building fully occupied at $1,400 a rent is $2.6 million. And I said 40% expense ratio. They're asking 2.2. Now, that's assuming that there are no renovations that need to be done. So now we can look at this building. We can see what type of renovations that they have. It just looks like a standard rentable apartment. And actually, those cabinets might not be our choice, but they look new. And so it's been on the market for a very long time. And it looks like some work was done to it, right? So with that being said, we can go back and look at this and see if they can tell us more information about it. They said they have 4 separate entrances. Okay, so I would do this as well. I would take this information and put this in Privy and see if I can get some additional notes from private notes, because Privy also gives you private notes that typically only realtors can see. So let's see if they have any extra data. So they don't. Now, the last thing that I'll do, just because I want to see this, and I think it's important for you guys to know, to make a relationship with a realtor. I would like that to be me, but it can be any realtor because we can look up stuff for you. So if we go into MRED, I can log on to this and we can pull up the listing. And then I will look to see if there's any information. This is all public information again. So look on here. That's the public information for it. I wanted to see what the gross rental income is. All right. So the reason why this property hasn't been sold right now is that this says that the annual expenses income is about 305. So if we're at 305 and we subtract out, they say the expenses are 165. Now this building could be vacant now. I don't know how many are there, but if we subtract the 2, that leaves us with 139,000. If we divide that by 0.09, that means that the building is worth 1.5. So based on the current income that it produces, assuming these numbers are true, we should be around 1.5. So right here, you can see that it says this property needs new management to get the rent stabilized. We would have to call to see how many are delinquent, how many are behind. How many are in, is there anybody being evicted? And that is all going to change how much the property is worth. Now, if when you talk about creative finance, you talk about being able to solve problems. This property, if we take their numbers for truth, is 1.5. They want 2.2. We know if we get it fully stabilized, it should be worth 2.6. The question becomes, do you want to take the chance to say, okay, I can give you 1.5 now. Will you finance the rest at principal only payments? Then that means you have to have the funds to go out and get this. This could be an opportunity for you to try to use creative finance for them to get their number. Now the question becomes, what financial position are they in to be able to accept that type of deal? This is how you can take the properties by using Propwire to look for off-market deals, or using, you can also look for on-market deals too, but using Redfin to look for on-market deals. Try to come up with scenarios where we can try to be creative. So if you see deals like this, you see opportunities like this, what I am going to do is I'm going to put together a form that I will send out to you guys, so that if you see these type of opportunities, or you see seem like you have a seller that's willing, or you think there's an opportunity for something, that you can submit it on the form, and then we can set up time where we can go over it, or I can look at it, or I can talk to the seller for you, or we can try to transact and push the deal forward, and I will show you what you need to do, or what I would do to try to get the deal across the finish line. Does that make sense for everybody? Milton said it's on 65th and King Drive. That's why it's still on the market. We're not talking about location right now, Milton. We're talking about outside investors looking at Chicago saying, man, this is a great opportunity, and not realizing where they are. But 65th and King Drive is changing, Milton, don't you think? With that being said, does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any comments they want to make? Okay, great. So what your homework is going to be, I want you to look at either option that I went over, and I want everybody to bring two things to the next meeting. One is a opportunity that you found, regardless of if it's a good opportunity or not. Find at least one. And two, bring another person that you think might benefit from this. Those are the only two things I ask. If you guys are interested in learning more about AI, I'll be live streaming Tuesday. I will probably take this video, upload it to my YouTube channel so you guys can watch it. Again, I will try to push these videos, either doing them live or push them up to YouTube, so that you guys can have access to them. If you guys have anything that you want to talk about, I want you to put them in the chat, or send me a DM, or send me an email. I will do my best to try to make sure that these meetings serve you, and we can try to get some deals out of it. So let's come here on Thursdays ready to try to do some deals. If you guys don't have any questions, I will let you guys have the rest of your evening.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
I got an invitation from Urania. I am not a Subto member.
Okay.
I am a Gator. So, but my question is, I guess I'm a little bit late. I thought it was at 8 the meeting, but my question is, do you have a recording for this meeting?
So I do have recordings for these meetings. They're all on YouTube unlisted, and I can get you those recordings if you tell me which one you want. But moving forward, my goal is to upload these videos to my YouTube channel. I just put my YouTube channel on in the chat again, so that you guys can see the replays.
I see it. Thank you.
My only ask is that you subscribe. That's my only ask. And so you can get notifications when I go live. I'm going to try to go live more often, specifically around AI. I've been trying to figure out, how to start talking more about AI, because it can really help you. So Tuesdays I will do that. And we'll just go from more, go forward with that.
I just subscribed. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yep. Dana, what do you mean? Are you going to email the deal document? What's that?
My bad. Are you, that document that you just had up?
I had a document up. I don't recall having a document up.
To fill out? Sorry about that.
Did I just miss something? What was it?
The one that we were filling out, that you were filling out with the property, said you, I couldn't remember if you said you were going to email it to us, or how are we going to get it? You just had it up
I had okay. Um, I don't recall having a document up, but I did bring up some web pages, unless you're talking about this.
What was it? Was it? You just had it up like a minute ago. You said you just filled it out. You said you'll send us one, so we can like kind of like a checklist, I guess.
I don't recall that at all. Am I tripping? Did I put up a document? I don't know what document that would be.
You just have
You
up like
did, you did say something about you would send out a document, I guess, for people to submit the deals on,
Oh,
or
a
something like
form.
that.
Okay. I didn't put anything up. I said that I will put up a form so you can submit deals. I got you. Yes, I will definitely give you a link to a form and we will send that via email. Yes. I'll give you a link to a form so you can submit deals. What I want to do, so there's two things. I will end this by sharing some stuff. Um, unless so I will end this by saying this. I'm a little excited. We are set up now to provide lending. One thing that we're going to be doing, one of our goals is to try to go out and acquire as much money as possible so we can fund deals. So there's going to be two active parts to this. One is on Thursdays, what I want to try to do is have us learn how to find deals, have us learn how to transact by acquiring as many opportunities as possible. Then what we're doing is we have this platform that we're using that would allow us to provide funding for you. I'm a software engineer by trade of nearly 30 years, and what we are doing is we're creating a platform that would allow us to match lenders and borrowers together. And so Chicago Creative Capital is the platform that we're going to be using to facilitate that. What we're going to be putting on here is eventually we're going to put deals on here so that you can see opportunities that lenders would lend on. And all you have to do is say, hey, this is a deal I want to buy. You can buy it. That would be something that will come at some point. We'll put tools on here so that you can use them for different things. So some of the things that we'll put on here are some tools that we're developing that will be super beneficial for you as a fix and flipper or a renovator so that you can know how to underwrite deals, learn how to underwrite deals. We'll have calculators, we'll have GPTs, we'll have agents, and you'll be able to see that on the site. And if you are somebody who has money and you want to help us, you want us to generate leads for you, or you want to be a part of the deals that we have that we'll fund for ourselves and for other people, then we have the opportunity for you to be able to do that. Lastly, if you're a lender and you're like, hey, I have a lending business and I just want to do my own thing, we will allow you to white label our platform. We can set it up for you. We can create you a landing page. We can create you a website. We can do SEO optimization. We can help you with paid ads. We can do all those things for you to get you set up so you can run your business the way that you like to run it. So one thing that I want to do is let you know that I want to run these Thursday meetings in a way that we can acquire inventory. In the background, Urania and I and some other people on our team are going to be trying to set things up so that we can provide funding for people, so that we'll be able to provide funding for people to be able to do deals. And then the last part of this is on Tuesdays, we'll be creating AI solutions that we will be using to help us do our deals, to help us underwrite deals, and to help us move things forwards. Now, the last thing that I want to say is this, and we want to have capital partners that will help us in multiple different ways. And sometimes that's not always the traditional way of being able to attach a lien on a property. Sometimes that will be partnering with us in a creative way where we might take funds together, put them in an LLC, and invest them in either a property or invest them in tax lien certificates. And I know Milton is on here, so I wanted to mention it. As a matter of fact, here he goes posting it in the chat. And for anybody who doesn't know anything about tax lien certificates, next week, Milton, you come, we'll talk about it because I've done them before, and it's something that's beneficial. And if we can start learning how to find deals this way as well, it'll just open up another a lane of opportunities for us to be able to do deals together.
Like a plan.
All right. Is there anything else that you guys would like to talk about? Otherwise, I will let you guys go.
Did you share your buy box, Adrian?
I did not share my buy box, but I definitely will have it for you next week.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, guys. I look forward to having more of these conversations. Again, what did I ask you guys to bring for next week? So, as a matter of fact, I'm going to make it 3 things. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel because I want to make sure you get updates on anything that I do that might be outside of this. The second thing is bring somebody you feel like would benefit from learning this stuff, and bring me at least one deal that we could talk about. I appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful time. I look forward to talking to you next week. Oh, Urania, did you send out information about the barbecue or the picnic? Is it next week? What day is it on? We have a Subto Gator picnic or barbecue, I should say, at Jim Vanny's house. I know that there is a flyer. We will be sure to check your emails because we will also make sure that you guys get their information so you can come hang out with us. It might be next week or it might be the following week. I don't recall the date, but we'll get that to you. I just wanted to let you guys know that. Again, we'll talk to you guys later.
I
Hey,
sent that out
Julie.
this morning.
Oh, you sent it out this morning. What do you know what day it is?
It's the 12th of July, and it's not a barbecue.
What is it?
It's a party.
I thought that
Oh,
said
there's
the
not gonna be
4th.
no barbecue there? I feel disappointed.
I think they're doing tacos.
Tacos. Okay, tacos are good too.
I thought that invite said the 4th.
No, it says 4th of July party, but it's
It's
not
a
on the
4th
4th.
of July party.
Oh,
Adrian,
reading
is
is
it all messed up
fundamental.
if you don't like what's being served?
Well, we'll be there, Julie, so you have to come.
You're killing me. It's all messed up.
Hey,
They're having
look,
tacos.
blame Jim. You know what? Maybe if you guys are nice, Urania will bring a treat. She's an
Oh my,
excellent cook if you guys didn't know.
that is an understatement.
Or I should say dessert. That's what I want more than anything. Maybe a key lime pie. But I appreciate hanging out with you guys. I'll let you guys go for the evening. I'll talk to you guys later.
Take care, guys.
All right, peace.
Peace.